bars. Yo, she's got some bars still. Don't do that. Now let me start again. Can I ask that you kindly not... No, fuck that. Do not attach yourself to me like I'm an extension of your identity. Stop jumping on my wagon, my style, my content, my flow. Stop the copy and pasting if you really want to grow. Please go away and maybe come back when authentic cadence has found you.
Perfect.
If I stop sharing content, where would that leave you? Having to come up with your own concepts and content. What a novel concept. At least try and be original. Otherwise, we are headed off the edge of the cliff into a sea of boredom and false egos. I'm glad that I inspired you, but spare a thought and leave some for me too. You just want to take and consume, and I'm not really sure that you really appreciate what it is I'm giving you, and I won't chase and I don't beg. It's either a genuine connection or I knock it on the head. It beggars belief. You better believe I value humility and kindness. But every time you take that as a weakness, you subconsciously reinforce that only those with egos win advances. I'm not in that lane. I'm of a different ilk. Why would I replicate polyester when I'm clothed in silk? There are levels to this, and you fell into measuring it using bars. Listen, your bars that you battle with would only leave empty scars. When did you start this misconception that I would be in competition with anyone else? If I'm seeing through my third eye, then it's only self I have to elevate in order for the lessons to be heeded.
I hear you.
Meanwhile, you're sitting there trying to construct lines and standards for audience reactions, and in the end, you're not even sure why you wrote it. You can't imitate method and process. When there is no method in the creative madness, genius cannot be taught. It's God-given, so murder, she wrote. The genie stays trapped in the bottle for a reason, so be careful what you wish for, chasing that dream only to find it's a nightmare. Some pens fly off the page and others just about manage to write a side note. I think you're done here. Here's your coat. Or maybe you need an umbrella because you're not willing to get drenched in the ink that made the greats. I don't really know what your end goal is. All I know is that I'm not keeping score. It matters less, if not more, that your words resonate, uplift, inspire, or entertain. It's an alchemy mix of heart and brain. So many claim to be the wise sage with important messages of hope or dislocating glass cages, many plights and causes, but it's sinister when it's just written for the applauses. It's not big, it's not clever, because in a different room with a different crowd, you probably couldn't even stand up and say your name, let alone recite verses. It's never me versus anyone else. It can just never be that way. I can quote 100 different artists all saying, just be yourself. But the irony is, they're secretly trying to be like someone else. Who are they, anyway? I mean, who are they? The elites, the greats, the wordplay acrobats, the performers, the lyrical assassins, and the so-called shellers. More time I've been blown away by the first timers and the open micers. And that's me keeping it 100. Because they bring a new perspective. My soul doesn't want food seasoned with the same old spices. I can talk politics, justice, pain, joy, and hate into pages. I can tackle mental health and issues I take issue with. I can subscribe to all the spiritual causes, but unless it's on my true belief, my words don't stand up with conviction. So even this right now, it's not even meant for you. It's just me talking. Why so many secretly really do it for the applause and the clicks, get real comfy in their groups, collective and cliques. What happens to a one-trick pony when they can no longer perform their trick? What we need is to unlearn all the false learnings for our ears to listen differently, removing the bars from our tongue so we can speak freely. Namaste, ashe, retrograde energy shift. You can't have too much rain and you can't have too much sun. We need a balance of both, and that is why balance is divine. The yin, the yang, the male, the female energies connecting, the physiology of pheromones exchanging. Flirtation is electricity. And that's why too many casual physical exchanges can drain your spiritual energy. Emotional strength is just as attractive and sexy, even more so than the masculinity of broad shoulders and a strong jawline. The ideologies of the structures of control are so deeply entrenched into the collective psyche that we are so afraid to go against the grain. We are pushed and coerced so much towards the liberal-minded existence between order and chaos that we think having steadfast beliefs is something to be ashamed of. We need less psychotherapy, which focuses on the past. Incidentally, this is a Western practice. We need more logotherapy, which focuses more on how you will use your energy to better the world, leaving your mark and logo on this world. Incidentally, this is Eastern practice. Information retention is not the peak of intelligence or intellect, but our education systems are not set up to facilitate higher or diverse intellects, and that's why creative minds don't thrive in our schools. So these proverbial stages are not meant for schooling, especially if no one is listening or learning. Please check your ego at the door. That's all I ask. Nothing more, but nothing less. Too blessed to be stressed, but very aware of energy. Barefoot grounding to the earth's core ability, testing gravity. The greatest questions never get straight answers, but paths become clear when you ask the right questions. What's the meaning of life? What do you want from this human experience? I want to get better acquainted to my spiritual self, because you can never be a stranger in your own home when you are your own four walls. The real me, it's not about what others see. My roots, my wings and everything in between. See, I would rather disappoint everyone around me before I ever disappoint myself. And that, dear listeners, is the bar that I set myself.